It's time for Michigan Fun on My Michigan TV, a weekly look at the top events in Michigan as presented by the state's leading authority on events, the Michigan Festival and Events Association. A full listing of events is available on MichiganFun.com. Michigan Fun is a production of My Michigan TV powered by Michigan Digital. Now, here's your host, President of the Michigan Festival and Events Association, Mike Sukin.
Welcome to Michigan Fun, a show where we check out the state's top festivals and events. I'm your host, Mike Sukin, and fall is here in full force with some absolutely amazing events ahead of us. Today, we have a special treat for everyone. We're going up to the Upper Peninsula to learn what's happening in the Munising, Pictured Rocks area. But first, we're going to hear from Angela Giroux from the Munising Visitors Center. Welcome, Angela. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you today, Mike?
So tell us what do you have going on coming up this season and into the winter season in the beautiful Munising area?
Well, currently right now, our fall colors are amazing. They're right at peak. So hiking in the area, ATVing is absolutely perfect right now. Coming up for the winter, of course, we have snowmobiling. Munising's known for its snowmobiling. We have hundreds of miles of our groomed trails directly from your doorsteps.
So I don't know if it's an insult or not because I'm one of them. For someone that's a downstater, aka troll, someone who lives below the bridge, where is Munising?
Munising is located centrally right in the middle of Upper Peninsula on Lake Superior, right at the heart of the National Lakeshore, Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore.
An absolute beautiful area. I've been there many, many, many times, so I knew where it was, but I just wanted everybody else to know. So for winter sports, I'm assuming there's quite the trail network. How many miles of groomed snowmobile trails do you guys have up there?
For all of Upper Michigan, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of miles. Right from your doorstep in Munising, we have over 100 miles of groomed trails that you're going to be able to connect to directly from any hotel that you stay at.
Speaking of hotels, who are some of the hotels? You also have Airbnbs or rentals in the area, because I think I've stayed in the Alger area before coming up there in the wintertime, and it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
Sure, definitely. We have quite a few different hotels in our area. There's a lot of chains, which is like the Holiday Inn Express. We have the Comfort Inn and Suites. There's the Borders Inn and Suites, America Inn, Econo Lodge, and then there's also the Pictured Rocks Inn and Suites. And then you have the smaller hotels, Alger Falls Motel, Hillcrest, the Munising Motel, the Super 8, or I guess that's now North Star. That's one of our other hotels. That's the Beach Inn. That's closed during the winter months, but open during the summer. Gorgeous views of the lake there.
I'm imagining that most of the stuff is available on your website for anybody that's looking at finding out more information about, okay, I'm coming to Munising, where am I going to stay?
Correct. Munising.org is where you're going to want to go to. You can find all the hotels there and any listing of any of the local area to-dos.
Awesome. Last time I was up there, there was a couple people that were starting some microbreweries. I mean, that's always a good attraction to any community. How are they doing? And is it just two or has it grown?
Currently, right now, we're still at just the two. We have the East Channel Brewery and the By George Brewery. Both are fantastic. They're doing great. East Channel is expanding into a new location as well.
That's awesome. You know, it's all I was talking with someone from the Michigan Brewers Guild last week, and I said, microbrew beer is an art. It's no different going to these microbreweries and tasting the artistic talent of the brewmasters is no different than going to an art gallery or a museum. I mean, everybody is different, and it's just I think Scott Graham said that we are the beer state, and yeah, I think I can brag about that.
Definitely.
So, other winter activities besides snowmobiling, I know that you've got some ice structures in the area.
Correct. Yes, we have ice climbing. There is a festival that goes on in February called Ice Fest, but directly in Munising, there is a shop called Downwind Sports where there are guides that will take you out to do ice climbing.
I remember going one year where I can't even tell you where it was. I know that we drove down a country road, and there was a parking area, and we had to walk all the way across a farm field to get to some ice structures. They were absolutely amazing. It was like a waterfall that had frozen, and you could walk in behind it. Where is that located?
Those are the Eben Ice Caves. Those are located out in the Eben area, out towards Chatham. It's about 20 minutes from Munising. Absolutely beautiful, and you are correct. Those are fantastic.
It's cold walking across that field because the wind blows across it, so be ready for that. But once you get back there, it is definitely worth the trip.
Yes, for sure. It's a little bit of a hike back in there, but it is worth every minute of it.
Yeah, we went there with my in-laws, and we had a blast. I mean, yeah, we slipped and fell, and we laughed about it. And we laughed about it.
Yep. Yep. A lot of it is spent sliding down a hill.
And it's, you wouldn't imagine that exists right there. It's part of the beauty and charm of the Upper Peninsula. There's just, you really don't know where you're going to find that next beautiful spot. And of course, you guys are in the heart of it, Munising.
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing what you can find just around any corner.
Very good. Angela, one more time, the website for finding accommodations in the Munising area, if you're traveling up there, is?
You're going to go to munising.org.
There you go. Thanks, Angela. I appreciate you being on the show today. You have a great day and have some fun in those ice caves.
Yep. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Well, when we come back, we're going to find out what's happening at the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
My Michigan TV is streaming everywhere on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, and more smart TV apps. My Michigan TV is on your phone too. Take us with you wherever you go. Just search for My Michigan TV on your favorite app store or visit mymitv.com. All Michigan, streaming everywhere. My Michigan TV.
Welcome back to Michigan Fun, a weekly look at the top events across the state. Our next guest is from the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Welcome, Scott or Zach. Zach or Zachary?
Zach is fine.
Zach, now you are the interpretation and education specialist for the National Lakeshore. That's a mouthful. So educate us.
Yeah, so my job is pretty fun. I get to be the public facing portion of the park. You know, we get to be the happy rangers running around and teaching students about the park, doing public programs, you know, assisting folks in visitor centers, that sort of thing. So it's a really fun job, and I get to meet people from all over the place when they come and visit the park.
So is it just a is it just the natural beauty of the park, or is there a historic part of that you share with the guests?
Sure. Well, one big draw is definitely the natural beauty of the park. The Pictured Rocks cliffs, you know, people come from all over the world really to see some of the cliff formations that we have in the park. But we also have the Grand Sable Dunes. We have miles and miles of wilderness as well, over 100 miles of hiking trails in the park. But I also wanted to give a shout out to the cultural resources that we protect in the park too, especially a lot of the maritime sites like the Asaba Light Station. There's numerous shipwrecks that are all around the shoreline as well. And so a lot of folks will come to visit those sites.
Now, and I have to admit, for all the people that may not have ever been there, I've been there and traveled the area, and it is absolutely fabulous. And the adventure from going from Munising to where am I going? Grand Marais.
Yeah.
What a day. I mean, that is just, I mean, you could spend a whole day driving, walking, hiking, backpacking. You're going to be there for a couple of days. And there's also, I mean, obviously everybody has seen the pictures of Pictured Rocks. I mean, it's national, it's internationally known, but there's also a lot of little inland lakes in that area too, are there not?
Yeah, there's a number of inland lakes. One of my favorites is the Beaver Lake area and the Beaver Basin Wilderness, and it's a really fantastic example of one of those inland lakes that a lot of people like to hike around, recreate on. People like to go fishing there too. You know, one of the things, just because there's so much to do there, or at least in the park in general, is just trying to plan your trip ahead of time. You know, making sure that you're going on the website, maybe prioritizing what you want to see is really, really important, because planning ahead and planning like a park ranger can help you have much more enjoyable time.
You brought up website. We're gonna come back to that, but it's fall now. Is the park still open? At what point in time does the park close? And with that, what are winter activities and access at the park?
Definitely. Well, the park technically stays open all year long. It's just as the snow starts to fly, a lot of the roads aren't plowed, so it just becomes harder to get into some of these areas. You know, a lot of ways that people experience the park in the wintertime is they like to go snowshoeing. We have miles of ski trails as well, cross country ski trails. Snowmobiling is really big as well. People will even brave the winter and they'll go out there and they'll backcountry camp. It's definitely something to, again, plan ahead and prepare a little bit for. But those are some of the major ways people experience the park. And as mentioned earlier, too, a lot of folks like to come visit the ice formations, to go ice climbing. So there's definitely a lot to see and do, even in the wintertime.
I have a 4-wheel drive, and I was able early in the season around Christmas time. I was able to get back to the parking area and walk out and be able to see oh my gosh, what is that iconic tower that's there? What's that called?
The Miners' Castle.
Miners Castle. Beautiful. Take your cameras. You're going to get lots of great pictures. It is awesome. But yes, even at that point in time, a lot of the roads were closed, and it closed only because there's only so much snow you can go through with a 4-wheel drive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, my advice is not to risk it. There's plenty of sand, ice formations at the Sand Point area, and that road is plowed. Just walking along the road, there's several signs that'll point you to the ice formations right on the mainland. So, again, just, knowing those things can really help a lot of folks have an enjoyable and safe time in the winter.
So where are you, excuse me, are you available or is anyone else available to speak with people that come into the park? Or, because when I went out to the castle there, that area, there was none of the buildings were open. So where are you stationed at?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, at the very west end of the park, there's a place called Sand Point, and
Okay.
that area we have our headquarters building. But another area too to contact rangers or to get some information too would be Munising Falls. The building right now is undergoing some renovations, but we're hoping to open that up soon. And also, folks can call the park. They can follow us on social media. And as I mentioned earlier, too, getting a hold of us via our website or finding information there, too, are all great ways that can help you plan your trip.
Okay. Social media, is that Facebook?
Facebook and Instagram. So we're on both of them as well. And then we have a number of YouTube videos too. And in case you're want to learn a little bit about some of the resources that we have here and a little bit more information about the lighthouse or the cliffs or the geology of the area. So
Going to the lighthouse, I'm kind of a history buff. What kind of role was played in that area, the developing of the state of Michigan, as far as industry, maritime, that iconic lighthouse out there on Grand Island, which is amazing because I don't think it's ever been painted, and it still looks that way, and it has looked that way for decades, and it's just beautiful. But
yeah.
There's a lot of that history. I mean, you're on the largest inland freshwater sea in the world.
Definitely. Yeah. So the Grand Island Lighthouse is a fantastic example of some of that maritime history. The one that we take care of in the park is over at Au Point, and that's the Au Light Station. So it's a different place, but definitely really important to the history and development of Michigan. At the time it was built in 1874, that was considered one of the most dangerous shipping lanes in the entire United States. So there was a big effort in the local community to lobby Congress to set aside funds to construct a lighthouse there. In between Grand Island and all the way out to Whitefish Point, there was about 90 miles or so of coastline that was had no light stations or anything until that lighthouse was built at that point. And then later on, they added more and more stations, life-saving stations. But it really helped a lot of the mariners in the area and at that time.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. You are obviously fit for your job because you have all the education, all nuances of the area, and I appreciate you being on the show today. Once again, your website for additional information is?
It's www.nps.gov. So as in nationalparkservice.gov/PIRO.
Very good. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate you being with us today.
Yep, no problem.
Oh, I told you guys this was going to be a good show. A lot of great information, but don't go away because we're going to learn more about the tourism and a little bit of the commerce and what goes on up in the greater Munising area. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome to Michigan Fun, the show where we check out the state's top festivals and events.
Join host Mike Sukent as he talks with guests from all across Michigan.
How are you doing, Mike? How's everybody in Fair Festival land out there?
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at festivals and events across the state.
A lot of concerts and free family fun, you name it, and we have it.
Your secret's safe with us. I thought mermaids were fictitious beings.
We got everything at Pirate Festival.
I mean, this is countdown.
Countdown only a couple of weeks away.
You guys busy there in Grand Haven?
Yeah, just a little bit.
We're hoping the weather is holding. We've called Mother Nature. I don't know if I can do much, but Mother Nature and we have an understanding.
I mean, people are coming to these events and these fairs and these festivals. They just want to have a good time.
It is one of those events that is so much fun.
That will be a lot of fun.
A fresh dash of fall really spices things up, elevating every moment amid the crimson, orange, and gold. Feel that rush of color, stopping only to savor every nuance and every note. Then kick it up a notch as the aromas of autumn fuel your inner fire. Add some spice to the season and let fresh bring the flavor in pure Michigan.
Keep it fresh at Michigan.org.
Welcome back to Michigan Fun, a weekly look at the top events happening across the state of Michigan. Our next guest is Kathy Reynolds, and she's with the Munising and Alger County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. Hey, are there any festivals or events going on up there that people should come up to Munising for?
Okay, so you mean as far as the winter goes, I know Angela had mentioned briefly about Michigan Ice Fest, which is the oldest ice climbing festival in the United States. And that's going to be February the 7th through the 11th. And not only can you watch people climb, and we have climbers come from around the world for that, and it's really grown over the years. And but you can also take lessons during that time, try out climbing, they'll rent you equipment, all that type of thing. I've done it myself before, so that's pretty cool. And then also for anybody that wants to see dog sled races, we do have in the area, and they do come through Alger County, and a lot of them start in Marquette, the UP 200, which is a sled dog race along with the Midnight Run. This all happens like that following week in February. And then also the Jack Pine Run, which are all dog sled races. And then there's also the very end of February, last weekend it always runs, this Ternary Outhouse Race. And they race outhouses, which is pretty cool if nobody's ever seen that or participated in that before. But it's a really fun day. It's in Ternary, this itty bitty little town. And they get thousands of people from all over the place, all over the country that go to that. So that's kind of a neat thing to do too. So if you're wanting to go to a festival or an event, especially in February when it starts to get kind of, you're like, oh my gosh, it's cold. It's a lot of snow. There ain't nothing to do. But that's what we live on up here in the winter is a lot of snow, and you really get used to it and have a good time in it. So.
You definitely have to be a snow enthusiast to live up in the Upper Peninsula. And the dog races are a blast. And if you've never been to one, you need to go there. The relationship between the dogs and the owners is amazing. It's almost a spiritual experience because it's man and beast working together as a team, and it's so cool. And then of course, all the ice structures that are up in the area and that ice festival. I haven't been there yet, so I got to get up there to the ice festival.
All you got to do too is. Yeah, go ahead and Google Michigan Ice Fest and photos, and people will see the absolute coolest thing because they climb over Lake Superior along Pictured Rocks. And they do it inland too on what Zach referred to as ice curtains. But when you see people a couple hundred feet up in the air climbing over ice, it's like, wow, it's pretty cool.
That is cool. it's amazing, the activities that are available up in the Upper Peninsula. And hopefully you guys will have enough snow for the UP 200, because for the first time ever last year, they had to cancel it because of lack of snow.
That was weird, because usually you have a lot, and that year we didn't have much, right? And that's one thing about winter compared to summer when you're in a tourism community or you plan events. Summer, you can always depend on the fact it's going to be warm in the summer. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not dependent upon whether or not it's going to be too cold or whatever. Where winter, you got to have snow on the ground if you're having a snow event, right? Or ice. Right. Yeah.
Well, the UP 200 has gone on now for how many years?
I don't know the answer to that question. That would be something easy, probably can look up. As long as I've been around, I've been in the position 13 years, and it's been around for, I would say, probably possibly decades. And I'm really not for sure on that answer to that one.
And I'm sorry to ask, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. It's been going on for a long time. And last year was the first time there wasn't enough snow. So it was a freak, it's Mother Nature, and you can't control it. You just deal with it. So
exactly.
Plan on there being snow this year, because the chances are really good. Matter of fact,
exactly.
I live downstate, and it's been cold already.
It's supposed to snow here on Halloween, so there you go. It's already supposed to start, so most likely you'll have snow in February.
So, how is tourism for the summer season in the greater Munising area? That you guys had a good year?
Yeah, we had a good year. So I always tell people during the pandemic, it just went absolutely insane. And we had been slowly growing pretty much every year since, say, 2012, 13. And then during the pandemic, and then we were up to, like 800 and some 900,000 right before the pandemic. Then also we had the pandemic, and we had 1.2 million visitors. And then all of a sudden, the second year of the pandemic, we had 1.4, because people couldn't go anywhere else. So they came to us and other national parks in the country. Now, once the pandemic ended, we went back to those pre-pandemic numbers. So I always tell folks, when it regards to visitation or business planning or anything like that, that you kind of got to take those 2 years out, because for us, it was jam-packed, right? So we went back to more like that 900,000, right under a million, number. But we had a very good summer. The weather was good. Businesses did well. We definitely have grown over the years in our restaurant offerings, our downtown businesses, or our walkability downtown has definitely grown and improved over the years.
Kathy, appreciate you being on today's show. For more information of events in the Munising, Alger County area, how can they find out more?
They can either go to munising.org for lodging. Also, our website, algercountychamber.com. We'll give them lodging, things to do, hikes, waterfalls, all those kind of things. Even in the winter, a lot of people enjoy, and in the summer, all those type of things. So
that's awesome, Kathy. Great having you on the show. Thank you very much for being with us today.
We appreciate it. Thanks, and have a great day.
Well, that wraps up the show, and I want to thank our guests, Angela, Zach, and Kathy. What a lot of great information for the Upper Peninsula, Munising, Alger County. You need to get out there and check out their website. If you need any additional information or you didn't get their website, everything is available on michiganfun.com. I'd also like to thank our producer, Jared Clark, and the entire staff at My Michigan TV. Browse that and on demand, all the videos, current, past, whatever. It's all on mymitv.com. That's mymitv.com. All Michigan, all streaming everywhere. Until then, get out there and have some fun. I'll be right back here. Special location next week.